Hey, good afternoon. My name is James Holland. I'm the Executive Director of the Abilene Area Chamber of Commerce. And this is Abilene Means Business. And this is our monthly television show where we highlight one of the chamber member businesses or organizations. We visit with them a little bit about their business, talk about business in Abilene and the region, and kind of get to know a little bit about them and what they do. And we just, here at the chamber, it's a busy time of year. We just finished our banquet. And before I introduce our guest today, I wanted to give a shout out to our award winners this year. Our Distinguished Business Person of the Year was Elizabeth Weiss of the Great Plains Theater. And she's done a wonderful job getting that organization back on its feet after the fire a year and a half ago. The Volunteer of the Year was Bruce Dale, former CEO of Alco, and he has been involved in lots of different organizations, including the Chamber, since his retirement, even prior to that. We have a Quiet Hero Award, which went to Sergeant Kent Wassenberg, who saw a need with the construction at the high school to get kids safely from the parking lot to the high school, and every morning you'll see him out there escorting children, high school kids, across the street. And then we also had our final award winner was Mark Wilson, and he's been a school board member for a number of years, and he won the Distinguished Citizen Award, and he's also one of the partners in Wilson Hay here, which you probably are familiar with. So yeah, congratulations to all those very well-deserving people, and we had a great banquet, and we're going to have a wonderful year here in 2016. So I just wanted to start this program off with a recap of that, which was a great time for us and our members. So anyway, today we have Larry Brake.
Thanks, James.
Yep. He's the manager with Mid-Kansas Coop, the facility here in Abilene. And we're going to get to know a little bit about the business. So Mid-Kansas Coop, tell us a little bit about Mid-Kansas Coop specifically.
Well, Mid-Kansas Coop is a large co-op. We service about 14 counties. We have 42 locations, about 14 counties throughout central Kansas. This is kind of the northern part of our territory here. Our home office is in Mound Ridge. And here in Dickinson County, we have 3 locations. We have one here in Abilene, we have one in Talmadge, and one in Solomon.
Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, and how many folks you have employed here specifically at the Abilene location? Well,
between Abilene and Talmadge, we have 18 people employed here full-time there, and we'll also have a couple of part-time people that help us out during the summer and during harvest areas.
Yeah, during harvest time it gets really kind of hectic over there.
So
yeah. Well, and prior to a couple of months ago, Larry and I were talking about the ag business in general and co-ops, and you know, the trend is, as it seems to be with most businesses now, is consolidation. And kind of give our viewers and myself an overview of what you've seen in Central Kansas over the years as far as consolidation is concerned.
Well, there has been a lot of consolidation. There'll probably be a lot more consolidation coming. We have, there are 3 co-ops to the east of us here that are getting ready to consolidate here and become one co-op. And a lot of the smaller co-ops are looking to partner up and just get the economies of scale.
Right. Sure.
You know, when you're able to buy train loads of fertilizer and sell train loads of grain, you obviously have some advantages that maybe some other co-ops don't have. So we just built a train loader down in the Canton area, and we've been selling a lot of grain throughout the world here through that Canton facility. And those are the kind of things that you'll see continue to happen. And when you look to the eastern states and some of the Corn Belt states, you've seen a lot of consolidation amongst not only cooperatives, but other just ag retail locations in general.
Yeah. So to what extent has the rail business and cargo costs had an impact on that?
I'm not sure. I don't really get into the the costs on rail and so forth. I can tell you that rail is being stressed because of the lack of the ability to hire long-haul truck drivers. And, you know, to go interstate travel I believe you have to be 21 years of age, and a lot of young people coming out of high school, you know, are going to try and get a job at 18 and so forth, and may have already started a career. So I know I heard someone speak over the winter that really it's stressing the rail systems now, because to get products across our country, more people are turning to rail, and I think that'll continue to happen.
Yeah, and you know, the Federal Highway Administration, some of the requirements they have on, you know, over-the-road truckers and those types of things, you know, just the logistics of managing that. And that's a whole nother different show, I know, because I know a little bit about that, and you know, I'm sure those things all don't help the matters, but they're there for public safety, so you know, you have to respect that. So.
Yeah, keeping a DOT license and passing the physicals, and it is for public safety. It is getting a little bit harder. They're starting to look at a lot of health issues like your weight and so forth, and you know, we do want, when you've got people traveling down the road at 75 mile an hour hauling 80,000 pounds of cargo with the truck, you want them to know what they're doing.
Yeah,
you want them to be alert.
You don't want them texting and watching
exactly.
DVDs and whatnot, or you know, after 20 hours on the road. So I mean, there's all kinds of things.
And you want them to be in good physical health.
Yeah,
and alert.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Yeah. Well, that's a trade-off we make, I suppose, for that. That's a good thing. Abilene's location for Mid-Kansas Coop. Tell me a little bit about the diversity of products and services you guys provide locally.
Well, we're a full-service co-op. We buy grain from farmers, and then a lot of our grain will end up down at Canton and be shipped out on rail loader. We offer agronomy services, fertilizer, crop protection products. We can sell them straight to the farmer. We can apply them on their fields. We offer crop insurance. We have people that can help with their grain marketing that do sell us grain there. We offer a fuel station at Talmadge, and we also offer on-farm delivery of fuel to a lot of customers, both fuel and their oil and grease needs as well. We can provide them with bulk systems for those, and you know, even with the fuel side, we can monitor them for them and automatically fill their tanks when need be.
Yeah, and it's I find it interesting that co-ops, I mean, all those things that you mentioned, there are competitors, but not all of them have the same package of things going on, and so it's kind of, you know, you've got maybe your bulk fueler, and you've got your fertilizer sailor and your seed, but you guys can have it all in one location, I guess, one company.
And we do have specialty people. We have people that sell agronomy. We have people that help with the grain marketing. We have people that sell the insurance, and we have people that sell the fuel.
Right.
And we really strive to give a great customer experience for all our customers, and we want the people that call on them to be very knowledgeable and have a lot of expertise in the area in which they're calling on them for. So we do kind of divvy up the responsibilities rather than just have one person try and sell the whole packages of stuff. Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm a city boy, or sort of. You know, I'm 2 generations removed from the farm. Let's put it that way. And I'm always fascinated by, and frankly maybe confused by all the genetics and all the different, you know, I mean, it's amazing to me that through genetics we can have seeds that work just in certain belts of climate, and I think that's fascinating. Tell me a little bit about how about your products and how those things have developed, or the niches that you guys work with in those areas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've seen a lot of products come to market that have been labeled GMOs, which is genetically modified organism. Yeah. And a lot of these products have allowed us to use safer herbicides like Roundup, which is a very safe herbicide. Many people out there watching have probably used it around the house and done that. And it's allowed us to shelve some maybe more stringent chemicals. Same with some of the BT corns that protect against insects. They've allowed us to cut way back on the use of insecticides that we have. So it really makes the environment a lot safer. Another thing that's happened is we've been able to map the genome of all the plants and try and put different characteristics to the individual chromosomes so that they can make much more rapid progression in bringing products to the market. If they can identify genes that increase yield, they can know if that plant, when they've made a cross between two plants, if that gene that they were looking for got in that plant by just simply mapping the genome, and then they can discard the ones that didn't make it.
Right, yeah.
The progress that we're making right now is very rapid, you know, on a lot of different fronts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the goal is to bring safe, healthy food to the consumer.
Right.
Because we're well aware that everything that we do is eventually going to end up on the table of some family.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and it's you know, I read a book called The Omnivore's Dilemma.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've read
yeah,
that.
I'm familiar with it. My wife read it.
Yeah, yeah, and it has a fascinating. I mean, the whole book is about food systems and people, and one of the really neat, one of the first chapters in there talks about corn and how it was genetically modified, and all of a sudden we had this incredible yield that we had to do something with, and there was the government subsidies involved in the whole thing. But then the food source, they found ways of modifying the byproducts of corn, using it to where you got high fructose corn syrup and lots of different things to hide the corn yield in.
Yeah.
And so it's just a fascinating thing because the economics of it, you know, the cost relative when yields go up, and then the actual amount of that you pay for the grain, that part of the food cost when it hits your table is very, very small.
Exactly, and you're absolutely right. That was a big point of the book, of just when you take it back down to the origins, most of what we consume is corn,
right,
because we feed corn to chickens, to hogs, to beef.
Right.
And most of us like a lot of those things in our diets. All the meat.
It's in everything from you know, ketchup to
exactly.
It's not just your cornflakes. I mean, it finds its way in everything.
And many of us drink a pop during the day, and that, like you said, has high fructose corn syrup. There's corn syrup and things like pancake syrups and a lot of different things have a high fructose corn. Corn is just such a plant that we can do so many things with.
Yeah.
We make fuel from it.
Right.
The ethanol that we make, the oxygenator that we're using right now in gasolines is ethanol for the most part. So we'll continue to do things like that. But even there, then we can use the byproducts after
right,
we've made the ethanol to go back to feed cows and chickens and hogs.
Yeah, and so we're trying to minimize the waste through the whole system as much as possible. And
exactly.
That's a really
exactly try.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just an interesting thing to me. But let's jump a little bit to a related topic and something that's more current. And I hear people talking about it, is that apparently commodity prices and beef prices, of course, were very high for a number of years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And of course, land prices at that time started going up as well.
Right.
And so now we're starting to see the shift back down significantly. So kind of describe what's going on in that.
It's a cycle. In agriculture, we always live through cycles. In fact, I'll never forget an old farmer told me one time, he said, in all the years I've been farming, I've learned 2 things. When times are good, they're going to get bad, and when times are bad, they're going to get good.
Yeah. And
we have had good times, James, as you mentioned, for the last 4 or 5 years, and we are in a little bit of a downturn. The high dollar, or the strength of our dollar today, is making our products more pricey on the world market.
Right.
We have a lot more competition in the world market. Argentina's just relaxed a lot of their tariffs and everything, and they're trying to export, more and more grain. And some of the other countries are taking advantages of the developments that we've made in genetics, as we talked about earlier. And in fact, ChemChina is in the process of buying Syngenta to have access to genetically modified crops, herbicide packages and everything. So there's a lot going on in the world, and we're in a down cycle right now. I've heard people say it may be 2 or 3 years, but we'll have another up cycle here.
Sure.
And farmers are just so resilient. They will get through these times, and they'll be able to manage their operations more efficiently. And it's causing us to take a look at how we do things. And when we do have the next up cycle, that's the thing, by going through these down cycles, we tend to get more efficient. Both the farmers get more efficient, and those that serve the farmers become more efficient. So when we have the next upturn, we'll really get even greater profits then. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and that's the international market part of it, and the genetics. Are there patents on? There are patents on genetics.
Correct.
For a certain period of time. Is it a 5-year patent, 10 years, something like that, or is it a kind of perpetual thing?
No, it's not a perpetual. The patents run out. For instance, the patent has run out, and part of the issue gets to be, and I'm not exactly sure, I believe patents are like 15 years, but it takes about 7 years from the time that you first start something to the time you do all the government regulations and pass EPA approval that you can bring something sellable to the marketplace. So you've lost a good portion of your patent protection during that time.
Right.
For instance, the original Roundup Ready soybeans are now off patent, but most of the beans that we have now too are Roundup Ready to yield soybeans. And so they're under a different patent for those. And those were one of the first true crops to come out that was genetically modified for increased yield.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and so then all of a sudden that hits the market, you got to go on to the next thing, that's the next big thing. So another interesting thing that's going on in the economy right now, a lot of us remember a few years ago driving around $4 gas, right? And what are we at, 150 now? I mean, give or take, right?
Yeah.
What's that going to do through? I mean, what do you see the twists and turns and impacts?
That has been a big help for the farmers with the lower commodity prices. Farmers go through a lot of diesel fuel to run their tractors, to run their trucks, and about all their equipment. So this lower fuel price has been kind of a silver lining in the dark cloud that's allowing farmers to maybe grab some savings there in fuel cost. We've seen some people go ahead and lock in fuel for several months, even a year, and we allow people to do that, to go ahead and lock in fuel prices for extended periods of time. So that has been a big help. And of course, a lot of our products, both fertilizer, grain, travel across the country or from one location, like from Abilene to our location in Canton on a truck. And so it helps us with our grain prices there as far as the prices we have to pay to transport our grain.
Yeah, and so and the other impact I wanted to kind of mention was the machinery, of course, and we had talked about that when times were good, people were upgrading machines, and so the new equipment, new headers, whatever prices were pretty strong. So then the used parts remanufactured was getting lower, and that might be switching here fairly soon.
Yeah,
it hasn't already.
Right. The people at CTI can probably give you more information on that. But from what we've seen, our customers are being a little bit more cautious in their purchases. We still see them making some equipment purchases as needed, but maybe not as aggressively as what they were a few years ago. Now, the good thing is because we've had these good times, they've been able to upgrade the equipment, and their equipment should be in good working order here for the near future. So
Yeah,
most of our customers are, you know, working with newer model equipment, and
so
we should be able to.
They're
in good shape. So they'll be able to weather these next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, and we're getting close to the end of our time, which is, I know it's shocking how fast it goes, right? And you know, I just the economy nut in me just really loves all the inner workings and how it all affects each other in the ag community. But the one thing that I think everybody needs to know, and people talk about this, but it's not often recognized, is that, you know, you may have a big shiny plant that produces something, hires 200 people, and people see it. But the agriculture economy and the farmers and all that generates from the very basic production model of agriculture really is what keeps communities going out here. And
absolutely. When you take a look at a community like Abilene, so many jobs in the Dickinson County area are agricultural related in some form or fashion. Either in ag retail or equipment sales. And then you take it on to the groceries. We've got a couple of grocery stores, the financing, insurance. Ag is just such a major driver of the economy here in Dickinson County and in the Abilene area. So, and we're very proud to be a part of that economy.
Absolutely. Well, and it's, you know, it's mid-sized companies like yours that add a huge amount of employment base here. So I want to, you know.
And we try and be good stewards in the economy. We help, we have a food drive every year to help with local food banks. We do things like the Angel Tree. We've collected coats for kids. So we take our relationship with the communities that we're located in very seriously.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, Larry.
All right. Thank you, James.
And I had about 5 different other things I wanted to talk to you about, but we're not going to get them on camera this time. Maybe some other time.
Maybe we'll do it another time.
All right. That would be good. Well, I hope that you at home found this conversation useful. I enjoy it. You know that if you've seen me on TV before. But anyway, I just wanted to reiterate how important agriculture is to Abilene, the region, and of course, you know, all of our member businesses here in Abilene at the Abilene Area Chamber of Commerce. So a big thanks to the farmers, right?
You bet.
Absolutely. So anyway, I wanted to wish you off and hope that you enjoy the spring weather that's coming. Once again, this is James Holland with the Abilene Area Chamber of Commerce. You have been watching Abilene Means Business.